Hello, I'm Strider, your host here at Author in the Headlights. And today we have the opportunity again to speak with Beth Bacon, a good friend and fellow author. And we're speaking specifically to authors this time, not necessarily about their books or her books, but about Amazon ads and algorithms, how to get that book out there and seen and viewed and all those things that you want to have done. Hello, Beth.
Hi, Strider. Thanks for inviting me.
You bet. Thanks for coming back. So what is this information about Amazon algorithms? Obviously, it drives sales in some way, but what can we say?
Well, the Amazon algorithm is what connects the person typing in keywords with your sales page on Amazon.
So the customer looking to find your book, because they don't know it, otherwise they'd already go right to it. So how do they find it? Those things, those keywords?
Right. I have a book coming out about grandmothers. So if you're a grandmother and you're like, I want a book about grandmothers to show to my grandkids, they might type in picture book about grandmothers. I, as the author, want my book to be on that first page, coming right up and showing that potential customer my book so that they can click on it, go to my sales page. And then, of course, you've got to have a convincing sales page that has them put that book into their shopping cart.
So they would actually type in kids book about grandmothers or whatever they're going to type in, because who knows what they're going to type in, but you want your book to come up.
Yeah, I'm going to do that right now. Well, of course, my book's not out yet.
Okay. She's actually doing this as we're talking.
I mean, we can talk, but there's one called Grandmother's Dreamcatcher. I Miss You, Mental Health, a book for kids. Interesting why that doesn't even have grandmother on it.
But the algorithm caught it for some reason.
Grandmother's Love, Grandmother's Promise. So what the algorithm does, it's going to put the book that it thinks best meets the customer's needs. So how do you get your book to be the one that best meets the needs of whatever the people are typing in? The first thing is remember, your first customer is the algorithm and your second customer are humans.
You sell to the algorithm and then people find it.
Right, because if you don't sell to the algorithm, it's probably not going to pop up. Then you don't even get the chance to sell. Well,
I actually have a personal experience about that. Before I really knew what I was doing, which I probably don't still, we learn and we learn and we learn. The two books I wrote that are out there easily on Amazon is Stone and Luna. There are 100 books with both the name Stone and Luna. So, 150 deep, you have to go to find mine, unless you have something else in there other than just the title. So that algorithm brings that book up when you want it.
Okay, so let's go to the number 2 thing then. That is a subhead. When you put something in KDP, you get a subhead.
And that's
always
Kindle
use a
Direct
subhead.
Publishing.
Yes, in Kindle Direct Publishing, when you're setting up your sales page, always use that subhead. Even if you don't have a subhead on your printed book, even if you do have a very poetic subhead already on your printed book, in the KDP form, put in a subhead that you think will help direct that reader to your book.
Because the algorithm will read that and it will direct people to you.
Correct. So let's say, I'm going to make this up. Instead of the book Stone, what if you had a book called Pebble? Pebble. It's the sister book to Stone.
There we go. I have a new one now.
Okay. So you would put in a science fiction fantasy or steampunk science fiction fantasy for teens. If that's what your book is, like, be super descriptive on like what you think that person, if someone's like, oh, I love steampunk science fiction and I'm a teenager, you're not going to really put in I'm a teenager, but that's what we call a keyword. Ask people, who like your book, how they would describe it or what they would put in to a search engine to find it. And make that be your subhead. So that's number 2. First is remember you're selling to the algorithm. Second is great subhead. The third one really is part of that subhead is keywords.
Yes.
Ask people what they really would type in to find your book. As the author, you're probably too close to it. So I would survey people. The other thing you can do, if your book has already been out there for a while, look at the comments that people wrote and pull out the words that you see common. Maybe it's funny, maybe it's heartfelt, maybe it's great characters, maybe it's something about the genre.
In the reviews.
In the reviews, what have people already said about it? But if you don't have any reviews yet, if your book is new, then talk to your friends and people who like that genre. The other thing is to look at competitive works. What were people saying about those books that also apply to your book? And you can find those words. So make a huge list of keywords. And then I think we're at number 4. The fourth thing is write the blurb using those keywords. Write the blurb.
You're not talking about the back cover blurb. You're talking about the sales blurb that goes into.
Yeah, I call it a blurb. I think it's called description on Amazon.
Yes, that's true. Amazon calls it a description.
What is the one thing to know about it? It has like 3 or 4 lines, and then it says read more. So put the most important stuff in the first few lines. Just jam pack that with keywords. Don't use your professional words. Use regular people words.
Because that's what people are going to be searching for when they type in.
Yes.
They may not even spell the other one, but they do know how to say it their way. And layman terms, I hate to use that because we're people, but
yeah,
the simpler term.
And you're writing it for the algorithm, and the algorithm has 2 things to think about. It has the thing that your potential customer typed in, and then has all the descriptions of every book ever written. And so it's trying to match them up.
Trying to find those matches.
Put those words in your description. Make them human sentences, but like I have a lot of, for kids, 3 to 5, for young children, for reluctant readers.
When you go back through your Amazon ads data that you do come up with, I do use Amazon ads, and the search terms that people use to get there. It can say almost the same thing with a different word switch, but it comes up as a different search, and it pegged on that one, and it clicked over, and it shows me what that was. And I said, well, we just said that here, but no, that's a different one with a different click because it was written differently, even though it's the same thing. So it's you need to double load, as you said.
My list is all pretty much free stuff. So if you are doing advertising, that's a great way to like rev up the algorithm. But use that data as your keywords. That's a great way to figure out what your best keywords are. And have you ever been surprised at which keywords are working?
Absolutely. Wow.
That's what I mean. Like the author doesn't know what really.
That's right.
So what were some of the surprising keywords that to you? Can you think of any?
Well, some I actually found I don't want that. So you put it as a negative keyword, then you remove that from your list of things, or say, yeah, we're not looking at that version of it.
Interesting.
So there are interesting things like that came up that it was like, and you end up paying for those that's why you got to put them as negative, because that's not where we're going here. I don't want to pay for somebody clicking on an ad and they're looking for something else. So it's good information too, because then that helps you qualify your terms and your words and your listing.
Yeah. Oh, another thing that I want to say is in your blurb, do not ever write another book title or author. Do not say, if you like Harry Potter, you will like this. I'm not sure if it's Amazon's always changing, but it used to be that they would literally remove your page if you compared it to another book. So in your description, don't mention another author or another
That's
book.
Good to hear. I have heard people say those kind of things, and I'm not sure of it myself. Although you do need to have that comparison data for you as an author. You need to know, similar to books like, if you're talking for an agent, you say it's similar to this, and something that's new and update, not 50 years old, some new upcoming that's being read. So they know what kind of a category, what to look at before they even look at your book. They need to have that kind of information to it. So that is important there, but not necessarily on your Amazon ad.
Yes. You remember, you're talking to the algorithm, and the algorithm has rules, and they don't want people to cheat and say, this is the next Harry Potter. That's like a thing that
It's true.
isn't really fair.
Also with agents.
So you're talking to the algorithm. When you talk to people, you can say, oh, it's just like Harry Potter. But when you're talking to the algorithm, which is your description, do not compare. So, okay, there's two more things that we can talk about that you can do relatively cheaply or free to help sales right away. And one is get a lot of reviews. The more reviews, that's interaction and activity, and the algorithm loves activity. If somebody makes the effort to go to your page, that means a lot for the algorithm.
It does. It's say, well, that was a win. I'm going to do some more of that.
Yes, success breeds success. And so if somebody made the effort to read your book and then go on the website and type something up about it, they know that there is enthusiasm there. So do whatever you can in real life to get people to write reviews on any part of the internet.
I fully support that. In fact, one thing about ebooks and audiobooks is many times at the end, it automatically links to a review this because it's done instantaneously right there, which is not the same for print books. Print books, you don't have that availability, and you have to go somewhere else to find this thing on Amazon. People don't even know where to find that. And you don't have to buy your book in Amazon in order to do an Amazon review. As long as you have read the book, you can be from the library. And then you put in and link, you go to the book name page. So I might you go Stone, or The Adventures of Ronan Stone, or Strider, S.R. Klussman to find the book. When that book page comes up, and you go all the way down to where it says reviews, you have to go down a couple draws of your page to go down there. And then there's a little button there that says write a review. Anybody can write a review. They don't have to buy it through Amazon. And most people don't know that. They don't even know where to find it until I've done lots and lots and lots of reviews on lots of things. So I know where that is. And it's so hard to get reviews. I once heard that 1 out of 8 books sold will get a review. I think it's more like 1 out of 80. It is hard to get reviews, but they're vital to an author or book title sales. People go right to it. 15 reviews. I don't even want to play with it. 1,500 reviews, they'll buy it. It's almost that critical.
I tell people, like, say I got it at the library, or my friend gave it to me, or I got this as a gift. In the review, everything is measured, right? The longer the review, the better. So it just adds words to the review, but it also is honest, because the algorithm obviously weighs verified purchases higher than not. I have been looking at the Amazon algorithm for many years. All of this is stuff I've just learned by watching.
Yeah.
So there is nobody from Amazon who will ever tell you how the Amazon algorithm works.
It changes all the time.
And it changes all the time. Right. So they probably couldn't even tell you. It makes sense that a verified purchase would be weighted higher than one that, it could be your next door neighbor or your mom writing that.
As far as they're concerned too, you actually bought it through them.
It
has more value because you bought it through them than if you go to the library, but it still qualifies and it's still available. And I still think if you got a book you just love, make sure you do a review on it. Not only is it for the author, but let other people to know this book, I agree with. It's great. It's a great book. You'd love it for whatever reason, and tell them the reason. It's
and I even like reviews that aren't good.
So
my books use the word "but," like your backside.
Yep.
And some parents don't want to buy a book with the word "but" in it. So I appreciate the people who are like, I hated this book. It had the word "but" in it. So that's information that is helpful. So I don't really mind bad reviews, quite frankly, because someone else
doesn't make it a bad review. It's an honest review and a reason for it. Not just, it's a terrible book. I hate that author. Sometimes you get some of those.
And so everybody has different tastes. And then the sixth thing, which is very important, but a lot of authors, I think, skip it, is the look inside. Don't forget to use the feature in KDP to put some pages in for look inside. It's important for several reasons. It does help the human people know what's in your book and what it looks like. But also, again, it adds interaction to your page. Somebody is clicking on that, and the algorithm measures how many clicks. And so the more clicks on your page, the more time spent on your page, the better. So don't neglect the look inside.
And Amazon is not the only person, of course. Draft to Digital has their thing where they send out to everyone in your audiobook versions. It's not just Audible, which is a big one through that, but Find Away Voices goes through, 40 or 50, and they all have their methodology. And they each have their own list for reviews. They don't combine for everywhere. That's what I was trying to say. Everyone has everything differently. And even in Amazon, I did sold books in the US, in Canada, in Germany, Japan, and Australia. And I don't know where they're coming from, although you can find that information, but they don't all show up under the reviews for the US. So, but if you market from other places, then you go to that country, because I've done it, say, where did they go? And sure enough, if I go to Canadian Amazon.ca, I guess it is Canada, then under there, they have another set of reviews and some of ours. So it's an interesting process. The whole thing, their algorithm is amazing. It's changing. It's alive all by itself with people input. It wouldn't be what it is without it. So we do have to learn to respond to it as though it was a person, sell to the algorithm first, and then the people will follow. So amazing. Once again, we are running out of time simply because it's so easy to talk about things writing when you're a writer. And it's all integral. It's all part of the job, part of the business. And in fact, one of my early conferences said, if you're going to be a writer, then make writing your business. Don't just write, or it'll just sit on your desk. Beth, once again, we filled out our day. Thank you for joining with us here at Author in the Headlights. I'm Strider, your host, and we are sponsored by DurhamandPublishing.com. Check them out. Check out her books there. And when you do read a book, give it a review. Thanks for being with us. Thank you, Beth.
Thanks, Strider.
Till next time. See you then. Sponsored by DurhamandPublishing.com.